You cool if I start recording?
I'm ready when you are, man.
Good, let's fucking do it. I like your haircut, dude.
It was hippie length, man. I'm talking, like, it came down to here. I told the wife, I'll get a haircut, but I'm going to tell her to actually leave some length. So I said, you know what, just take 1.5 inches off. She left 1.5 inches on there. I was like, well, Uncle Sam ruined hair on the feeling of hair touching my ears, so no big deal.
I like it, man. I watched the other day. I watched Fury, that tank movie.
The biggest ripoff of my haircut in history. Yes, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, you have that haircut. I like it. Reminds me of that.
Yeah, I mean, but keep in mind, I've been doing more or less this version of this haircut since '95.
Oh yeah, no, it's before it was cool.
But hey, we got a tank movie out of the deal, so I'm not really fussing about Brad borrowing my haircut.
Yeah.
Things could be much worse.
Yeah. So
even though history buffs were like, well, that's not accurate. Oh, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, dude, it's a tank movie. I just want to see fucking Nazis get mowed down. That's all I give a shit about. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, now keep in mind, I have never had to bang it out with a tiger, but I white-knuckled that entire goddamn scene. I was like,
oh,
fuck.
Dude, it is. Yeah, they really do capture the. God, I don't know what movie, what book. It makes me think of All Quiet on the Western Front, because that movie really, or Fury really captured the sort of randomness of death. It's like you're there, and like 2 minutes later, everyone around you's gone. He's literally, what's that guy? He's like, what's God doing up there? Big pair of dice. Everyone got snake eyes but us. It really is. It's just in a matter of minutes, 4 tanks are gone.
What I appreciated about the movie was Americans love the reluctant warrior.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to kill these guys, but shucks, if I gotta
do it.
No, these guys were fucking killers.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, you spend a long enough time in armor cavalry, you meet some version of everyone that was in that movie.
Oh yeah.
The Mexican dude that would randomly drop into Spanish for no fucking reason whatsoever. You had, I hate to say it, but it was usually a Southern guy, a redneck that could barely read or write.
Bible.
But no. Give him a roll of baling wire and a set of Leatherman. He could probably fix a nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
And be like, man, shit, I'll fix this.
Ah, shit, I'll get it.
And there was always a Bible, a guy who wouldn't chase girls, wouldn't smoke, wouldn't drink, wouldn't do anything, but would kill you fucking dead if you were wearing the wrong uniform and in front of his gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was. And the FNG, the new guy.
Yeah.
So where are you from? Nobody gives a fuck.
Nobody gives a fuck. You saved?
That movie had so many great parts. It was the quickest weapons briefing in history. Boys, talking through that machine gun. Open that cover. Now you kill it. Close it up.
Now you aim.
Now you aim. The first time I got my hands on a grease gun was about 96 or so. And because I love guns and history, I was like, oh, shit, cool. So I'm looking around for the charging handle because that's how you operate the bolt. Like, where the hell's the charging handle? He opens the cover and is like, you stick your finger in the bolt and you pull it backwards. I was like, no, seriously, where's the charge? He was like, no, click. I was like, this has got to be the ghettoest firearm this country has ever fucking produced. But they're fun as hell to shoot. I will say that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I love it. Seemed that much more realistic because it was like, yeah, it's like the young dude that's goes in there and he's like, this guy didn't do anything to me. He has a family. I don't want to kill him. And it's just like, you can see like how quickly it it's like you're just molded by your environment, and within 30 minutes he's like fucking Nazis and just mowing them down.
And I had to have a few conversations with some civilians about it. It was like, well, why did he have to shoot that guy? You're like, you got to get that stink of innocence off of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is a bow gunner on a Sherman. He needs to kill people at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
And not this, oh, shucks, well, the Bible says, no, his boss had him execute a fucking prisoner. Not that I would do that. But he had to get that stink of innocence off him. He had to.
Well, because he let that guy shoot the Panzerfaust, and it killed that other guy who lit on fire and shot himself. God damn, that was intense. Holy shit. Holy.
God, I hope your audience isn't filled with Wikipedia warriors, because I really liked the movie. I really did.
I don't give a shit who my audience is.
But the writer, the director, David Ayers, he's already responsible for my favorite cop movie of all time, and that was End of Watch. Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena.
Me and one of my best friends watched that last semester of college. That was great.
Now, I don't know shit about police procedures other than, despite what TV tells you, you don't get into an officer-involved shooting and you're back to work the next day. No. A friend of mine had a officer-involved shooting. She shot somebody and she was off for the summer. Now, keep in mind, she's not like, flying to Fiji. You have to be available for inquests and things like that. But yeah, you're off until you're cleared, and then you return to duty. And so they started with the shootout, and then some unknown amount of time back, then they come back. But the part that sold it for me was just the amount of fucking ball busting that went along inside that car. I was like, oh, that's real.
Yeah.
That's real. Just constantly fucking pecking at each other. Because you spend enough time with somebody and you're just going to...
Yeah.
But so when I heard he was going to do a tank movie, I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Even though Shia LaBeouf is
crazy.
Kind of over. I don't know about crazy, man, but okay, maybe he's fucking crazy. I don't. Dedicated to his craft. I'll give him that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I think you kind of got to be with acting. I think it's kind of like what Rogan says about madness. Genius and madness are next door neighbors, and they share each other's sugar. It's kind of like the best actors, man. It's like, yeah, maybe they're not people I would like turn my back on if they had a weapon. I don't know if I'd leave them alone with my family or, give them the keys to my car or show them where my liquor is. But a good actor.
All right. I've been around famous people before. I worked at a really hip spot in town for a number of years, and celebrities were nothing new to me. They're just people.
Yeah.
Just usually incredibly short people. Like, wow, I didn't know you guys were all 5'7". Like, I mean, there are a few exceptions that I remember off the top of my head. Ben Affleck was 6'4".
Well, you got to be short because that way you're down to earth.
And Jesus, my buddy was pissed when he met Vince Vaughn because he's 6'6", and
Vince Vaughn's
my buddy's
massive.
My buddy's 6'4", and he never has to look up to anybody. And he was like, I fucking hated having to tilt my head just slightly to look at him. Like, yeah. Everyone else I've met from Hollywood has been incredibly short. For the most part, but yeah.
I don't think I've ever met any famous individuals, but there's something about Fury. You're right. The whole stink of innocence. It really is like, because the way, I mean, you could tell when Brad Pitt was making him shoot the prisoner, it wasn't that like he wants you to shoot a prisoner so much as like if you don't kill them, they kill you. It's zero-sum game. It's yes, of course he's showing you pictures of his family because he's captured, surrounded by 4 tanks and 100 of us. It's you got to get it out. You know, it's like, why didn't you shoot them? They're dead. Like, are you a fucking doctor? Shoot them. And you're right. You can tell it gets to a point where it's not the reluctant warrior, like, you know, in front of God and country, I'll do it. I don't want to do it. No, by the end, it's like, hey, grab that guy with the busted wing, shoot that cocksucker, and you're like, motherfucker, Angel, this one's yours. Auf Wiedersehen, asshole.
And I like the fact that they made a real point to not
point out the SS versus the Germans.
To point out, that guy's SS. Yeah,
shoot
you ain't fucking walking out of here.
He's not just an enlisted soldier.
Shut up, cat.
He's not just.
Shut up.
Dude, they'll always get the last word.
Give me a second. All My fustiest cat is gonna piss and moan until I do this. Hang on.
You're good. Get it. So, I'll break into the. Oh wait, your headphones aren't in.
All right.
Do you want to break into the Q&A and?
Sure.
We can go from there. I don't give a fuck. Because the last couple episodes, I've had like questions I've meant to ask people, and I'll end up talking to them for like 2 hours, and I'm like, oh fuck, I got questions to ask, and they're like, oh man, I got 5 more minutes if you want to do questions, and I'm like, oh fuck. So,
oh boy.
The first question, it's the most upvoted one, so I guess I gotta ask it. Is the anime girls und Panzer an accurate representation of tank warfare? I don't know what anime girls und Panzer are.
I know what it is, but I don't know what it is. It's an anime, Girls und Panzer.
Girls and Panzer?
Yeah. I saw like 10 seconds of it once, and I thought I was in some fucking
fever dream.
The mushroom-fueled fever dream, and all these giant anime eyes while driving a bunch of T-34s and shit. I was like, what? And then it went away.
Ooh, your shell's so big. Da, 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 da. Oh, no, American. It's the most upvoted question, so I have to ask it.
I hate, the most upvoted question, and I've got nothing to fucking offer you.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I just want to give the people what they asked for.
Listen, I'll say this. If it's a media depiction of tanks, it's probably about as real as World of Tanks.
Okay. Okay. What did he and his crew mess around with to avoid getting bored on deployment? So how do you kill time?
Kill time. Okay. This is the unglamorous part. Riding around in this gigantic turbine-powered diesel-drinking monster. Maintenance. Shitloads of it. If... It's one of those things. It's. I'm not going to say busy work, but let's say you've done whatever it is that needs doing. You essentially park your vehicle for the evening. If the guys just get out and chill out, then someone didn't do their job. Like fluids need to be checked, track tension needs to be checked. That engine consumes oil. All right. It doesn't maintain oil level, if I'm remembering any of this correctly. So it should burn a certain amount of turboshaft oil per hour of operation. That has to get looked at. If you want to get nitpicky, then, or if you got a crew that tends to get up to no good, have them bore sight the main gun. That's always a titanic waste of time. Not waste of time, but it's a time suck. For the most part, a lot depended on proficiency. You had a good crew that knew what they were doing, then I could jump out of the gunner's seat and expect you to know your job without me having to go, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah.
New guys, you did shit like what's called AFVID, Armored Vehicle, Armed Forces Vehicle Identification. What vehicle is this? What country does it belong to? Is it a shoot, no shoot? That is a lot more difficult than you would think because there's
what is
shitload
that?
of different armored vehicles out there.
What is that? Is that just something like
it's
flashcards?
Think of flashcards, like a 2-inch deck, and you roll up Leopard 2, no shoot, German, same gun as ours, this many road wheels, has this distinguishing feature on the turret. T-55, shoot all day long. It's got X amount of road wheels. It's got a bore evacuator at the end of the main gun. Distinguishing features of different vehicles. If you're breaking in a new guy that's, say, a loader, then he's not going to have a lot of downtime because he's going to be learning a bunch of shit. Okay, you're a loader, but this is how to do this job. This is how to do that job. And if the TC takes a bullet, you need to get over there and deadlift his ass out of the TC's hatch. Always a good thing to have a loader be capable of doing. And not to mention actually knowing his job in feeding the main gun, getting the round out smoothly into the guns, into the breech smoothly, without losing fingers, toes, hip bones,
dicks.
Well, I mean, I think when the main gun goes off, the path of recoil, the amount that the breech jumps rearward, is 12 to 13 inches. Now that's 12 to 13 inches. It doesn't matter if your meat sack is standing in front of it or not. It's going back that amount of distance.
Period.
And if you're in its way, you'll soon be out of its way. Pretty simple. Like I said, man, one of the first things one of my instructors said was...
I was about to bring up that quote you said from the last episode. Yeah.
Yep.
You read my mind.
This lady is designed to kill. Fucking right on. But she is not specific as to who. Oh.
Okay.
Light bulb goes off in your head and you go, oh, shit.
It's like an unguided missile. It's like, this is going to kill what you aim at. Red, white, and blue, communist, Nazi. Let it rip. It's say goodbye. Whether it's into a village or it's into the fucking Reichstag, like it's killing.
Yeah, this like I said, it's an amazing piece of engineering, and they somehow made it. I'm not going to say idiot-proof, because that is a level of engineering that doesn't exist.
You can't do idiot.
But they got it as close to idiot-proof as I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
You bump your head the wrong way on the bulkhead of a Blackhawk, you're going to shut off 68 circuit breakers. I have yet to bust the fire control system on the main gun, which I don't know if I told you this part or not, but I told you how accurate the fire control system is. Keep the dot on the bad guy, the gun takes care of the rest.
Yeah.
So calculate lead, elevation, bullet drop, this, that, the other. But it also does it for the coaxial machine gun. It is the same fire control system.
Okay.
So it'll turn your coaxial machine gun, which is a machine gun you use for troops, unarmored vehicles, a lovely little thing we call recon by fire. What's in that bush? Brrr. Nothing now. But that coaxial machine gun has the exact same fire control system. So you have literally the world's most expensive sniper machine gun, because it still uses the laser rangefinder. Mm-hmm. It still uses all the lead and elevation calculations that are there mainly for the main gun, but it also applies to the coaxial machine gun. So, yeah, the words sniper and machine gun sound like something a 4-year-old would say, but it's almost literally what a coaxial machine gun is capable of doing.
Just finding the target and staying on it, and that's insane.
And if you can see it, you can hit it, and if you can hit it, you can kill it.
So, can it go up a level of intricacy? Could you make it like an autonomous like rangefinder? Like, could it find the target and do everything, or do you got to have a human behind it?
Okay, now I will freely admit that my experience is only in M1A1s. Mm-hmm. After they got into the A2s with separate thermal viewers and M1A2 set V1s where they had a crow's mount for the commander's machine gun, I don't have any idea about that shit. Mm-hmm. I had gauges in the driver's hole. They have LED screens now. Not that, back in my day it was better. No, just
different.
That was the tack. These are the buttons, and now it's computer screens.
Yeah.
Probably more accurate computer screens, if we're going to be honest. But, I don't know if... All right, the M1A2 introduced the CITV, the Commander's Independent Thermal Viewer. While the gunner is scanning for targets, the commander has his own set of optics that he can be scanning around. And if I'm not mistaken, if he finds a target, boom, he slaves the gun to what he's looking at. And from his position, he can get the commander's override handle and boom, shoot from there.
Oh, he can fire the main gun?
Yeah, actually, I mean, it's a bit old school, but somewhere around here, fuck. My garage is a fucking nightmare.
No one has a clean garage.
Somewhere around here, I have a commander's override handle from some older tank that I found in some dumpster somewhere. Which is probably just a nice way of saying I stole it, but pretty sure the statute of limitations ran out on that one a while back. But the commander has a control at his station that will override whatever it is the gunner is looking at.
Uh-huh.
Once the commander's override gets hit, the turret, the gun, everything is listening to that one position. So.
Okay. How many shells did he fire from the tank? Is there any way?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Oh shit, man! I do not know.
I don't know how you would, but
at one point in my life, like I remembered shit like what your basic load is to do tank table 1, which is like a qualification. I don't know. Let's play dumb and say 200 rounds through the main gun. There's no one that's going to fucking prove me wrong. Yeah, 200 rounds. Let's say that.
What is it? When did we stop using white phosphorus? Willie Peter. Or do we still use it?
We stopped using it?
Oh, I always thought I guess just from like the hive mind of Reddit, I always remember seeing pictures of like white phosphorus and how now it's like a war crime. But I was watching Fury and they were just jacking that into everyone. I just remember thinking like, why would we stop using that? It seems great.
Well, I'm pretty...
Like the purpose is to kill. Why are we going to neuter it? Like the purpose is to kill.
It really, like what we called Willie Pete, white phosphorus rounds, through the tank's main gun was smoke. It was to obscure, which if you, once again, going back to Fury, when they
pop smoke in front of the tiger.
When they went banged it out with the tiger, the first thing they did was backed up their tanks so their thickest armor was facing the bad guy, and they just started throwing smoke at him.
Yeah,
Willie Pete. Now, if you have an artilleryman in your audience, they still might use that today for marking targets. I cannot vouch for that, but I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, shit, don't use it in cities. That's kind of obvious, but say if you want to do a obscure an enemy machine gun position, you don't know where the enemy is, but you know that this is his sight line. You can throw a 155 round in there and he won't see dick.
So is it okay? I didn't know that. I thought it was separate. I thought there were smoke rounds and white phosphorus, but they're the same. I guess it does produce a lot of smoke. Why not smoke around?
Listen, I could be wrong. I might be wrong. I don't know if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure, at least for the World War II use in tanks, I'm almost positive it was to obscure. It was to throw smoke in the face of bad guys. I'm pretty sure of that. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. We will say this then. We will say I am 92% sure. Went bad Russian accent.
But in Fury, not to use Fury as some like historical anchor point, but
it's a cultural reference point.
Yeah. That thing most.
If you're watching your podcast, you probably saw Fury.
Yeah,
it's a safe assumption to make.
Yeah. So when they use it, when they're in that like town, and they put it in the first floor, or when they're making their last stand, and they put it in that like farmhouse. I mean, it looks like they're using it for incendiary purposes.
Yeah. Well, white phosphorus has a tendency of burning the shit out of stuff. So
yeah.
I mean, secondary purposes, sure. I don't see why not. If I really had a hate boner for the bad guys, I wouldn't hesitate throwing a fucking Willie Pete round in the middle of their formation.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's what I was referring to.
You're not putting that out.
Yeah, you can't. You can't. It's one of It's like in Chernobyl when they add like lead to the fire, like the radioactive fire. They're like, and the lead turned to lava, and he's like, you made lava, and he's like, well, you can't put this shit out, right? It does not. What you add to it is just going to become part of it. I guess that's what I was asking when I said, do we still use white phosphorus? I was thinking, I didn't know it was the same as the smoke, so I was thinking like, do we use these incendiary rounds? But it makes me think of Annie Jacobson's book, Surprise, Kill, Vanish, and they talk about CIA Special Activities Division, and she's interviewing one of these guys from the Forward Operating Base Gecko in Afghanistan, and this guy's like, I don't know why we can't use flamethrowers. And he's like, we used them in World War I, World War II, Vietnam. He's like, the purpose is to kill. Like, we're not... Oh, yeah. He's like, it's one thing if you're using beanbag bullets or tasers to incapacitate, but he's like, once you're killing, you're killing. Like,
you're killing.
He's like, sure, it's slower, but if the purpose is for our guys to kill them and them not to kill us, I would rather kill them quickly. But if burning them still means my guys are safer, if I can clear a room by just pointing a flamethrower down, he's like, why can't we use it? But I guess that's, when you get to that tier 1 mindset, he was just like, I don't understand. He's like, my purpose is to kill. I'm not a diplomat. He's like, you put me in when you want them dead. Why can't I use a flamethrower? Because they call it an AC-130. He's like, I saw a shell hit this car. They're all on fire now. He's like, why can't I use a flamethrower? So, I mean, I'm with you. Why? What? Yeah.
There's
optics, I guess. UN, all that stupid shit. Geneva.
I don't know because, okay, flamethrowers used napalm.
Mm-hmm.
which back in those days, napalm was a
jelly.
I get to clear leather on this one. Is a portmanteau of the words naphtha and palmitic acid. Nowadays, it's gasoline or diesel and polystyrene to thicken it up. It just got unpopular with people that weren't fighting in the war. The flamethrower is a little spooky to me. You can't around to that thing and Felicia.
Oh yeah, you're gone. Yeah.
But I've always loved the idea of it. I'm pretty sure some comedian said it. It's just, I love the concept.
George
See
Carlin.
that guy over there? I want to set him on fire. I just don't want to walk over there to do it.
Yeah, George Carlin.
Okay, yeah. Carlin. Yeah, that makes sense.
See that guy
sense.
over there? I want to set him on fire, but he's all the way over there, and I'm over here. If only I could find a way to throw flame. And he had a friend who was good with tools.
Yeah, oddly enough, this is a little legal fact for you. A flamethrower is not a firearm.
That's ironic.
Oh, it's ironic as all shit.
It's not a firearm.
And when you hear politicians say things like, you can't own a flamethrower, yes, you fucking can. They are unregulated.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You can look up the ATF's rules on it. A firearm is something that shoots a projectile from a cartridge. It's one of those things like, this is not a firearm, but it's a weapon that uses fire. Okay, man. All right. Just clearly there's some Walter Mitty shit going on here that I don't fully understand. And I'm checking out of that conversation. Yeah, like flame tanks in the Pacific.
Yeah.
We need this bunker cleared out and just hosing the Imperial Japanese Army with fucking napalm. Ouch.
Yeah.
Just.
That shit's insane.
You want to shoot me? Fuck you, I'll shoot you. You want to stab me? Oh, shit, he wants to stab me. Fuck you, I'll stab you back. No, that guy wants to set me on fire, and his buddies aren't going to shoot me because I'm on fire.
Yeah, because I'm on fire.
Dude, that's... No, man.
I mean, no, I get the argument. Yeah, I get the argument for make it so... It's what did Curtis LeMay say? He's like, when there is a war... He's like, you should use overwhelming firepower, more than is needed, an absurd amount. You should overwhelm them with hell so that you could end it as quickly as possible.
Yeah. I mean, you think of things like the Gatling gun. He was positive it would make war so horrific that
he thought it would end war. And then we put wings on it.
Pretty sure Alfred Nobel thought the same thing about trinitrotoluene, TNT. He was like, this will make fucking standing armies useless. And then he found out about HE shells and went, fuck.
Yeah, the Gatling gun. This will make war intolerable. It'll be so bad. Fuck that. It just turned into a World War I, like... They had a little song like, we have the Maxim gun. And that's all it turned into. It was just a bunch of doughboys just like, fuck it, mow them down. We have the Maxim gun.
Yeah. The Maxim. I've heard two different versions of this one. The Germans, World War I. Their version of the Maxim was the MG08. Identical gun. And some of their MG08s were made in Spandau. And it said so right there on the receiver. I've seen them. Mm-hmm. MG08 Spandau. Mm-hmm. And I guess if you caught a doughboy in no man's land, you lit him the fuck up with the MG08, and the bullets hitting him made him do the Spandau Ballet.
Jesus
which
Christ.
New wave artist from the 80s.
Jesus.
But I've heard different theories on that one. Yeah, exactly.
Woo. I didn't know that. God damn, man. God damn. Makes sense, though. I mean,
it does make sense, but it's one of those things that...
gallows humor.
Well, no, where you make things fit the narrative after the fact. Like RPG, rocket-propelled grenade. It is not a rocket-propelled grenade. It isn't. We just used that because RPG was in its title.
Oh, really? I mean, you're right. There is like a retroactive. It all fits.
What do they call that? Like a backronym.
Backronym, yeah.
Where you shoot the arrow, then you paint the bullseye around it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I did a backronym for this podcast because I saw Joe Rogan Experience, JRE, and I was like, I need 3 syllables, something quick. I don't want 4. And I was like, TPC. And those are my initials. And I was like, let's figure it out. Tommy's podcast. Through some universal luck, no one had made a podcast. No one named Tommy had made one yet. So, big dick energy.
You lucky bastard.
I know. TPC. Woo! Thomas Patrick Kerrigan. But, yeah, you're right. The Spandau. Good Lord in heaven.
Yeah.
I thought the Maxim machine gun, when I first read about it, as I first read about it when I was like 17, so of course my mind, I was like, oh, is this named after like the Maxim magazine? And apparently it was not. Fun fact, it was not. Came before it.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a wee bit, couple decades.
Whatever happens, 7. We have got the Maxim gun and they have not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've spent a little bit of time around Maxim guns, some Vickers guns, and once you realize that those heavy machine guns, and they're heavy not because they're caliber, but because the sheer amount of shit that goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
With those water-cooled jackets, the barrels get hot, takes the water, turns it to steam. Steam condenses down there in a can. Take the can, refill the water jacket. Those things didn't need to stop firing.
That's insane.
They could just go. I'm talking. As long as you had water and ammunition, that like the Vickers was famous for its fucking reliability. And damn it, I should have. Well, I didn't know I was talking about Vickers guns, but when they were about to retire the Vickers gun, I'm pretty sure they just belted up a shitload of ammunition and got a bunch of water for the cooling jackets and just let it run for a day.
Jesus.
One of your Wikipedia warriors is losing his mind right now. It's actually 22 hours, you fuck.
You fucking piece of shit.
You fucking shitlord.
I am out of here. That guy's like, I'm going to get a Vickers and fire it for 24 hours into your fucking house. Like, all right, man. Jesus, pump the brakes, buddy. Yeah, because I've seen videos of like a saw on like YouTube, and the guy fires it for like 100 seconds or something. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it literally turns like molten red and the barrel falls off, which I thought was pretty dangerous because I was like, in that time that the barrel's falling off, you're going to shoot around and it's going to boink. But I guess I'm just a keyboard warrior.
If we're thinking about the same video, I'm pretty sure they did a destruction test on a suppressor.
Oh, yeah, you're right. The suppressor, you're right.
Yeah, you can... I know a lot of guys that... Okay. Back in my day... Back in my day...
Well,
we had a musket, and we liked it.
We had the Maxim gun. What's that fucking... Do you ever play Grand Theft Auto 5?
I haven't played Grand Theft Auto since it was on a PlayStation 2.
I thought that's what that was. I noticed
still have it.
I noticed the colors, yeah. There's I guess nowadays, 2020, I'll get thrown in the digital gulag. But I love Grand Theft Auto goes into so much detail. You can even go on like the websites to buy cars, and every car has like 2 paragraphs, like, and it's written, and it's all hilarious. None of it's fluff. That's why I love the game. Is it's all perfect. And you go into it, and one of them is like this like 1950s car, and it's like back when you could drink scotch at work and smoke a cigar, and your secretary was your second wife. Back when women and minorities knew their place. I was just like, holy shit. I always quote that, and people always give me a look. I'm like, it's fuck you. It's Grand Theft Auto. Like, it's whenever I quote shit, it always sucks when you quote something bad and no one gets it, and they just think you're saying something bad.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, come on.
I tell you what, though, we'll jump into the end zone and head down to the pool hall, and we'll play some billiards.
Yeah. No, really. It's like
it's my that's always my night.
Old-timey voice.
It's the future.
It's the 40s. In the future, you'll be able to send mail to your girlfriends on the other side of the planet.
In only 6 weeks.
In only 6 weeks. Boy, you'll be an inch taller by then. You can go fight the Krauts. Yeah, it's always shit like that. The Krauts. Yeah, and in Hot Air Balloon with the Jules Verne novel. Yeah, so it's just some bullshit.
I'll tell you what, we'll get on that hill and we'll ace those Huns.
We'll take them down with the run across the bow. You'll be famous. A ticker tape parade for you and your boys. Yeah, seriously. Maybe one day you'll be in the White House. Go watch the New York Yankees. Simpler times when you could just brainwash everyone. When no one has the internet, you can tell them what's real and what's not. Everyone outside of this country is a savage. That's why we have the Maxim gun.
That's where you have the Maxim gun. No, I'm not going to say that, like I'm not going to go, like, techno hipster on you and say,
do whatever the fuck you want, man.
Long for a time that I wasn't involved in. But back in the days, Edward R. Murrow said something, and you went, okay, it's the truth.
Fact. That is a fact now.
And without getting political now, you have to go, wait, the news said what? Okay, which way does that station lean?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Take it with a grain of salt. It used to... Shit, I'm trying to remember. Was it Edward or Murrow?
You ever seen those?
It's something I put on my Instagram once, where I took a picture of a male lion with his scarred up face, and I think it was Edward R. Murrow. I'm not sure, but I just put the little caption over the picture that we are not descended from fearful men.
That's at the beginning of Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. He has the quote,
but it's a Edward R. Murrow quote, or one of the other news guys that I can't think of right now.
At the beginning of his podcast, it has that radio clip. We are not descendants of fearful men.
Say that nowadays. Like, we're definitely the descendants of fucking terrified men.
Oh yeah, everyone was horrified. I don't think there's any. I think it was Dale Comstock, Delta Force guy I've had on here. He was like, man, I don't want fearful men fighting with me because they're dumbasses. He's like, you got to have a healthy amount of fear. Fearful. He's like, it doesn't matter how fearful you are. You're flesh and bone in a 7.62 round. He's like, you can be fearful. It doesn't give a shit. It'll blow that brain matter with that fearful thought right out of the back of your head.
I'm
with
not 100% that I'm getting the names right here, but I'm pretty sure it was good old Sergeant Charlie Beckwith, the guy that essentially started Delta.
Oh, yeah.
Was talking about his Vietnam days in I'm pretty sure it was MAC-V SOG program.
Uh-huh.
And he said, I'd rather go upriver with 7 studs than 100 shitheads.
Yeah.
I remember reading that as a kid going, well, why wouldn't you want more? No. I want men capable of delivering high-order violence when needed.
Yeah.
And not delivering high-order violence when not needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7. I'd rather go up the river with 7 studs than 100 shitheads. That was one of those ones that stuck with me from an early age, and I was like, I wonder what he meant by that. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you get older and you're like, okay, yeah, because I would be one of the 100 shitheads. A branch would break, and I'd unleash like 100-round salvo, throw a grenade, and then start screaming for air support.
That's what bothers me about the whole concept of the Vietnam War. All right, we're going to have a draft. You're a 19-year-old kid from Iowa. Here's 8 weeks of basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia. Here's your M16. Here's Vietnam. Welcome to the fucking jungle. I hope you make it.
Yeah. I know you wanted to be a calculus teacher, but...
Did you want kids to die? Because that is an environment that is not terribly familiar to Americans.
I think an argument could be made they wanted a certain number to die. You look at the guys pulling...
I'm not going to go conspiracy theory on you, but, I mean...
Not conspiracy. I just mean like a certain... You got to make it a real war. Because if they're not fighting back, you can't get any support. But if all of a sudden you're sending back flag-draped coffins, well... I think in my humble opinion, I think Vietnam was like... I think they were trying to like bring back that World War II patriotic mindset. And it was like, dude, that was different. We were literally fighting... a methed out megalomaniac with equal technology who was literally burning people in camps. That was a true real life movie villain. Vietnam was like, they are farmers who can't read and they're taking technology from people who have a different economic system than us. Ooh.
Yeah, but story goes deeper than that because Uncle Ho wanted our help kicking the French out.
Oh yeah. Oh, it goes
because he was literally referred to as Vietnam's George Washington.
And the DM brothers.
He came to us and he was like, "Listen, you guys kicked the British out. Help me kick the French out." And we went, "Yeah, but we're friends with the French, so no." So he just went shopping with where he could get support, and he found it with the Soviet Union. And he was like, "Fuck it, stars and red banners for everybody."
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, You're leading a nation of jungles people. I mean, can you fault him? He's a dude that's taking care of his people.
I haven't read too much about Ho Chi Minh. I really haven't. I haven't read too much about the leadership of North Vietnam. I will not lie. But I haven't heard a single word calling the guy evil.
No.
Like every time I see a fucking hipster douchebag with a Che Guevara shirt on, it's like,
you don't know anything about Che Guevara.
Well, if you ask real nicely, you go down to Miami, there's a retired CIA guy that has Che Guevara's Rolex.
Yeah, he took it off. Yeah, Che Guevara was Castro said he was too radical because Che said, if the situation calls for nuclear war, then let's give it to him. That guy that all those hipsters are. Yeah, he said, what did he say? That last letter he wrote in his diary to his wife when he knew the CIA was hot on his tail. And he said, tell our kids to grow up to be strong revolutionaries because individually you are worthless. It is all about the revolution. Real great guy. We cannot have a free press in order to have a revolution. A free press is a capitalist tool. Real freedom fighter. Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. What's kind of funny is my family lived in Cuba before the revolution. My grandfather, my mother's father, was a mining engineer, and they lived all over the world. And he was working in Cuba, and the family legend goes he was I can't verify World War II stuff, but I know this guy was he was harder than woodpecker lips, and he's the guy that taught me how to shoot a 1911. So he was going to move his family for work to Cuba, and I guess he got approached by some company guys, Christians in Action, and they were like, all right, listen, this is what we need because, we know you're a good guy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But what we're going to need from you is if you do this, you put an X on this lamppost. And he was like, do you not know I got 5 fucking kids with me? All right. You need spy shit. Go hire spy people. I'm track downable. I have a wife. I have children. Go fuck yourself. And probably fewer words. And my grandfather is easily somebody I could see telling the CIA to go fuck themselves without a moment's hesitation. I'm pretty sure he would say it differently because I was going to say he was a gentleman like that, but that's just how he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Lived in Manila, Tel Aviv, Cuba, Honduras. My aunt was born in Lima, Peru.
So the CIA is probably licking their chops at this guy. Oh, he's perfect. He's perfect.
And he told them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah. Not a lot of people get to say that and live.
It's like, listen, it's one thing if I was, doing this shit stag on my own, but I have a family that lives in a house that people know the address of.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You hear shit like that, and you just go, that's a different breed of man.
Yeah.
Because, I'm sure I could tell the CIA no, but telling them to go fuck themselves.
Bold move, Cotton. Bold move.
Let's see if it pays off. It did.
Yeah. Well, Castro also had an incredible intelligence network. No one likes to talk about that just how good his intelligence network was. And, yeah.
And that's a really weird thing, because
the Soviets and all their satellite nations they really did have fantastic intelligence.
And it was
almost
real.
Depressing.
It was real intelligence, what they call human intelligence. It came from this dude here.
They had people in the Manhattan Project.
Yeah,
that's insane. That is insane. Who's it? Rosenberg and Klaus Fuchs. Jesus.
I remember I remember the name Rosenberg.
Well, they were executed. Yeah, Klaus Fuchs, I think, got away because I think he sold out some people.
Shocker.
Yo. Is that
Commander's override handle?
Jesus.
Hydraulic safety switch. You don't press that, you don't get hydraulics, or wait. Or is that a safety? So yeah, trigger, laser rangefinder, or so this is going to be mounted on the side of the turret so boss man can grab it.
Fuck yeah.
And put in work.
Fuck yeah. That's insane. I'm getting sidetracked to keep. By the way, I can go longer than what we planned on. I got nothing doing. Fuck yeah. Let me get the
as the Labor Department states it, I am underemployed.
I am Grand Theft Auto. I am employmentally challenged. It's a disability. I'm employmentally challenged. How does the latest version of the M1 stack up to the Armata, ARMATA, and latest Chinese tanks? No, I didn't know that. You mentioned it earlier. Sorry, I didn't know there were multiple versions of the M1. So you said there's M1A1, M1A2.
Yeah, and right now we're at M1A2 SEP V3.
What does that mean?
I don't fucking know. I know I don't know when it happened, but like you have an auxiliary power unit, like a small little generator, so you could run everything on the tank, but the drivetrain. There's you went from an old, very awkward commander's weapon station with the 50 cal to a crow's mount, which is a remotely operated weapon system, which is going to make the tank commander have to command the tank like Ace Ventura, kind of out of the side of it. I mean, because crows are awesome, man. They have great optics, great fire control, and range finding and all that cool shit, but it blocks up a significant portion of your field of view. Okay, I'll put it to you this way. the Armada, the current Russian tank, it doesn't stack up against the Abrams because no one's seen an Armada outside of a parade.
Really?
Yeah. It's the same thing in aviation. Don't buy the A model of anything. When it comes to Russian tanks, don't go with version 1.
Go with the one that's been around for 40 years.
There's a reason the T-72 is still around, because way back in the Cold War days, the T-72 and the M60 Patton were about as close to as either side had to parity.
Mm-hmm.
Like the T-72 was a smaller, probably a little bit more maneuverable tank. M60 probably packed a slightly more high velocity punch, but the M1 came around and changed the game. The Armada,
can't know.
Well, not only that, but until things change, the Russian army's still dealing with conscript troops. They want to do their 2 years. They want to go the fuck home. 2 years is not enough time to gain true you're not going to be wildly capable with your chosen platform. I mean, shit.
I mean, it's like a car. The longer you drive the car, it starts to just this single specific car. It starts to become an extension of your body, and then you drive a friend's car, and you're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Okay, but drive a car, shoot at other cars, avoid hitting or purposely hit other cars, but your driver's 10 feet away and cannot hear you unless you got an intercom on. And you don't know if he was getting sleep last night like he should have, or if he was jerking off. It takes time to build troop proficiency. Well, it's like the old saying goes, amateurs practice till they get it right. Professionals practice until they cannot get it wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it's adverse weather, nighttime, zero visibility, zero white light. You can do the job that you were trained to do because you've done it so fucking much that you literally don't know how to not do it.
Yeah.
Once the Ruskies managed to get themselves a professional force, I mean, I'm not shitting on Russians. They're tough fucking people. They're tough, man. They're $2 steak tough, but 2 years is not enough time.
Yeah.
I used to joke about it that I probably spent more time at the rifle range than most Soviet troopers spend in uniform.
Jesus.
And that is not to say that they are low-quality soldiers, because I really don't know. But 2 years is not enough time.
Yeah.
Especially when you have to do military shit, like have unit cohesion. I know who that guy is by his silhouette. I can tell by the way he walks. Oh, that's
so-and-so, yeah.
So-and-so. Oh, yeah, that's the guy from 3rd Squad. He's got that weird sort of Oompa Loompa thing to his walk.
Yeah.
That it's that level of proficiency that sets us apart. And not to mention, thanks to you, the American taxpayer, we spend shitloads of time training.
Yeah.
We burn lakes of fuel. We shoot mountains of shells. You guys pay taxes so that your boys can get good at this.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, that we are good at this. We
We're
are
fantastic at it. It's, again, George Carlin. We can't build a VCR worth a damn. we can goddamn bomb you as what we're good at because we do it a lot. But yeah, man, you don't just want a military and just because none of it matters if it's all just theory. If it happens, because everyone knows that's never how anything plays out. But if that's just what you do, like when the NFL first started, these guys always had jobs in the off season. They sold cars, worked at offices, but then, fast forward 50 years, and this is what you do from age 7 until the day you retire. Like, it's if you practice nonstop, it's just, you're a different animal. It's not even, it's one thing if your technology is better. It's another thing if your technology is better, and that's all, if you're the Harlem Globetrotters of what you do. And you're right. I think there's another quote you said earlier, like 7 studs versus 100 shitheads. There's another quote that's like, I will gladly take 100 volunteers over 10,000 conscripts. I think it's much older. I think maybe like Revolutionary War, but it's like, dude, if you have someone that's like, I am going to go fight for you to the death, like that's someone that's just like made up their mind that like, this is what I'm going to do, versus like, I got to go do these 2 years, but I really want to, I really want to
watchmaking.
Yeah, I really want to teach calculus. I really want to whatever.
I was talking to a couple of guys, and they asked me like, what I felt about a national draft, and I was like, nope, not a fan.
Doesn't work.
And well, I mean, my thought was, well, what if we can't raise enough bodies to fight the next war? Then maybe you don't fucking get to fight the next war.
Yeah.
But for good, bad, or indifferent, America's young men always seem to respond to the call to arms. I mean, as much as I shit on millennials for being a terrible generation filled with awful people, until I met Generation Z, I have reversed course. But I will give the millennials, I will never try and take this from them. In the history of the American fighting man, nobody has fought more in different places, year in, year out, voluntarily than your generation of people.
I didn't know that.
Like, look, after 9/11.
To be fair, we've been at war for the majority of my life.
Swamped with kids that were like, let's do this. And, like I said, as much as I shit on them, and I do, that it's just, World War II was 41 to 45 for us. Global War on Terror, you had 19-year-old kids with neck tattoos going, dude, I've been doing this shit 12 fucking years.
Yeah.
Dude, I've got nothing but love and respect, but damn, you did it voluntarily.
Yeah.
So how do I feel about drafts? Not a fan.
Yeah.
For us. Places like Israel, where you're surrounded by a whole bunch of people that really don't like you, and the sea.
And
it makes sense that everybody should be able to sling a gun.
I feel like Israel would probably, even if it wasn't mandatory, I feel like they'd probably still, even if it was voluntary, and this is just speaking out of my ass, but I feel like they'd probably still have like 99%. Because like, you're surrounded by like a sea of holy fire that believe that their creator of the universe thinks that you are a vermin that needs to be erased.
Yeah, that's a
you are surrounded by crazy ex-girlfriends. Like,
oh, that was nicely said.
Thank you, sir.
But they got their shit pushed in every time they got froggy, didn't they?
So Terry's acting froggy?
Which, by the way, just in case, the M1A2, Leopard 2, I'm pretty sure the Korean Black Eagle and the Merkava all have the exact same gun. the exact same gun. Maybe a licensed produced copy. I'm not sure about South Korea, but as they're fans of us, so I'm pretty sure they'd want to use the most widely available ammo stock, and that would be the 120 millimeter. So, I really should have fact checked that before I said it, but
I don't give a shit.
Leopard 2, Merkava, M1A2 all use the exact same gun.
Is another question from Tactical Thunder Punch.
Oh, dude, awesome name.
Yeah. What's the craziest thing you saw that made you think, well, quote, well, I'm glad I'm locked in here? Also, has anyone attempted to climb and pry a hatch open?
Oh, okay, let me preface
Two
this.
questions.
I have not done a combat deployment in a tank. Right?
Yeah, no, yeah, you prefaced that the last time.
I got out in 04. I wasn't even locked in here when it happened. I was sleeping on top of the turret on the blowout panels behind the tank commander's and loader's hatch when an earthquake hit. This is 1999 or so. Huge earthquake. And I was at Fort Irwin, and my wife is always amazed by this because I can sleep like a log, but when I'm not at home, the slightest thing wakes me up. I mean, I'll go right back to sleep, but it's like, what? Oh, okay. So I'm sleeping on the top of the turret, and then out of nowhere, a gust of wind comes up. It wasn't windy, just whoosh, gust of wind. I'm like, what the hell? And then the tank starts bouncing up and down.
So it was a good sign.
And I actually, I'm not sure if I said it because I don't trust my memory or if I thought it. Either way is equally stupid. My first thought was, you idiot, stop jumping up and down on the tank. Because 3 dudes on the back deck jumping up and down aren't going to move that thing a fraction of a millimeter, and it's bouncing up and down.
Yeah.
And then I stick my head out of my sleeping bag, and I can see a row of tanks moving with the earth like this, and I went,
oh no.
Is this an earthquake? I'm pretty sure this is an earthquake. I think I'm about on the safest place I can fucking be. I'm sitting on top of this goddamn thing, and we ain't going anywhere. And by the way, if someone ever tries to get in your tank, there's a reason there are handles on the inside and not the outside. Like Fury, all right? They open the hatches, you combat lock that shit. You lock it from the inside. No one's getting you out of there without a gigantic torch and a whole shitload of fuel to cut through it.
Yeah.
You remember the guy that went ape shit in San Diego, drove an M60 tank around and run over a bunch of shit?
Got caught on the median.
Yeah, he high-centered the hull on the median.
Side note, I love the comments on that YouTube video because it's like, typical American cops. Shoot, kill first, ask questions later. And it's like, he's in a tank on a highway.
My favorite thing was the cops' radio transmissions. Like, we need to find out if this thing's loaded. Like, we leave tanks with a full basic load of ammo just lying around.
Oh yeah.
But what this guy did, the M60 has an escape hatch right behind the driver's seat. What he did was basically loosened it so it was just hanging in there. And when he decided his day was today, he's going to shoot his shot, he just popped in through the escape hatch, bolted it back down, lit the engine up, and drove off. On the outside of the tank, on the turret, is the tank commander's hatch, the loader's hatch. Well, the cops got up onto the turret with bolt cutters, cut the lock, securing the loader's hatch. Opened the loader's hatch, went, police, give up, and he gunned the engine, and they split his wig. If he had taken 10 seconds to crawl back into the turret and combat lock that, they would just have to wait until he got bored and left the tank of his own accord. I mean, either way, he was high-centered. He wasn't going anywhere.
No, yeah.
But yeah, once you combat lock it from the inside, good luck opening those hatches.
It's kind of like Killdozer. Marvin Heemeyer.
Oh, Marvin Heemeyer. Yeah. He went crazy. He went crazy for a year and a half building that thing. Listen, I don't know right or wrong. I'm not just. He snapped.
He didn't.
You don't snap over a year and a half. I don't know who's right. I don't know who's wrong. I don't know shit about it. But
have you ever
18 months of crazy? Someone should have seen him walking around smearing himself with peanut butter, butt naked, wearing wet weather boots. Going.
I'll send you a short. There's like a 10-minute documentary video on him. There's this hilarious channel. This Irish guy that narrates it. Dude, Marvin Heemeyer was literally. It was like the Joker, man. He was pushed. I think it says is a reasonable man pushed to be unreasonable. He got fucked by bureaucracy.
Well, I mean, and here's the thing. Heemeyer's dead. We're getting essentially the bureaucrat side of the story. I'm not saying, he's a folk hero. I simply don't know enough to form an opinion. But I gotta admit, if you're gonna go, fuck, man, he went big.
Yeah, if you're gonna go out, he didn't kill anyone, so it's like it's easy. It's if he killed someone, it'd be a lot easier to be like, fuck him. But because he didn't kill anyone, it's like I don't condone the Killdozer, but like I kind of see where he was coming from. Like I don't agree with it, but like I kind of see where he was coming from. There's different ways to go about it, but I mean.
But see, listen, the only reason we get to have this conversation because he actually didn't kill anybody but himself. Evidently not for lack of trying, but the story takes a very different tone if he ran over some kid.
I don't know
what kind of idiot kid would get run over by a fucking dozer that can't do more than 4 miles an hour. I'm pretty sure the polio ward of a hospital could wheel themselves out of there before the Killdozer arrived. But anyway. Okay.
This thing couldn't catch FDR going uphill.
All right. So, thank God I'm here. Yeah, it would have to be earthquake Fort Irwin somewhere right around 1999. Anything that can make a tank bounce on its suspension as it's sitting still, that's like, ugh.
Yeah, it's an act of God. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and clearly God loves the cavalry because we weren't much to. Our hair got a little bit messed up, so had to fix our shit in the morning. No, but definitely. Thank God I'm here. Is going to be earthquake.
If you can
next,
if you can make an M1 Abrams bounce like a hydraulic Cadillac in '92 South Central LA, there's some power behind that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I still can't believe that my first thought was, you idiots, stop jumping on it.
Yeah, happens.
You could have 20 guys jumping up and down on the back deck. That thing ain't fucking moving. But I thought 3 idiots were playing grab ass on the back deck. Especially in the colder months. You like sleeping on the back deck because the engine keeps things nice and warm. But
nice and toasty.
I was sleeping on the blowout panels so that I could still monitor the radio and not have to rotate my guys through radio watch. Mm-hmm. I'd much rather have my guys well rested and, 532 radio check. 532. That's it. That's all I needed to be awake for.
Hey, one second. My dad's calling me. How large could two Cthulhu Luau. How large is an Abrams crew, and what does each crew member specialize in?
Abrams is 4 crew members. The driver, pretty self-explanatory, drives the tank and usually handles maintenance on the track and the engine itself. The loader, his job, feeding rounds into the main gun, making sure the radios are prepped, making sure all the machine gun ammo is not kinked, because you got to remember the coaxial machine gun sits next to the loader on the right side of the tank. All the ammo for said coaxial machine gun is on the left side of the gun. So it's got to pass through a chute over the main gun and into the coax. And if that shit gets kinked, everyone's going to be staring at the loader until he gets it unfucked. Like I said, he feeds rounds into the main gun. The gunner sends giant bullets where they need to be. He's responsible for scanning, identifying, engaging targets as they appear or as directed by the tank commander. The tank commander, obviously, the boss. He's the guy that fights the tank as a unit. He doesn't micromanage the gunners like, oh, you make sure he's in the... No, he's responsible for fighting the vehicle itself. And being on the intercom with the driver, and then being on the intercom with the loader, and then reporting up to higher on the radio, and keeping your wingman abreast of any information. Just he's a tank commander's by necessity a multitasking maniac.
Is there?
That's the four crewmen.
Is there? So my own question: is there any future where all this becomes automated? Just like, I mean, down the same path as the just drone warfare, like Predators, where like you have a couple guys, but you're in a box a mile or on the other side of the world.
Certain amount of automation, probably. I don't know if a reduction in crew is a wise idea. I don't know if it was the Marines or the Army that fielded a Abrams chassis MICLIC, mine clearing line charge. Now, this is an Abrams chassis. Its job is to shoot a rocket over a minefield. That rocket drags a whole shitload of PETN or Semtex or C4 or whatever. It drags a rope of explosive down a path. It blows up. Well, the problem with a 2-man crew, as it is in this MICLIC vehicle, is, well, when you break track, you're fucked. Because you need at least 3 if you've got to move the vehicle and wrench track back on. Someone's going to have to drive the goddamn thing. So it was the first thing I saw when it was like, so and so announces a 2-person MICLIC vehicle based on an Abrams chassis. I was like, 2-person? Are they all the dude who played the Mountain from Game of Thrones? Because if not, that's a serious plot hole that you guys are going to have to work around. But I don't know. Maybe they work in pairs, and if somebody's track goes down, everybody jumps on and solves the problem. I don't know. But a 2-person Abrams chassis is going to be a shitload of work for everybody. As for automation, I don't know, man. It looks like that's the way things are going, but you and I have talked about this before. I have an issue when you literally have no skin in the game. Like, kids' lives are not at risk. Sure, that's a good thing. But when you don't risk anything, what's to stop you
from just going berserk?
Like, oh yeah, just send the robo tanks into
just level
Kiev,
it, destroy it,
Kiev,
destroy it all.
Because we don't like the way the newspapers are set up.
Take it all out. Who cares? Yeah.
Like I said, but that's my opinion on drones. We are undoubtedly headed that way, and philosophically speaking, I don't know if we should. That's where I come out. Yeah,
there's only one logical. I think Jocko Willing touched on this on Joe Rogan's podcast years and years ago. He was like, it doesn't take much to just extrapolate that timeline. We make more and more drones. Eventually, the other side makes more and more drones, and then the next arms race will be, okay, who can make more pilots for these drones? And then after that, it goes, okay, well, now the next step is just make them autonomous. And then after that, it goes, who has the better autonomous software? And then it just becomes you're battling each other's software before it even makes it to the drones.
And that is one thing I always liked about
Skynet.
Heinlein's Starship Troopers. Because I'm pretty sure they said they had the technology to make it all automated. But the idea was to make war as personal as a punch in the face. And Skynet, probably that'll be first, but then someone will go, you know what, we need a human being with a conscience on this.
Yeah. Well, you're right. You already do see it with drone strikes. I mean, it's one thing when like an F-22 gets shot down or something, but I mean, a drone strike taking out one guy and taking down. And I'm not shitting. I mean, I've had on drone operators on this podcast several times, and I'm not shitting on them at all. I mean, just from the greater picture. I
wouldn't want that job.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that job. Shit.
From the greater picture, though, it's a lot more sanitized when it only exists on like an infrared screen, and there's no sound, and it's just plume, and you're just tracking metadata. You're just tracking cell phones. Bad guy gone. It's a lot less like you're taking a life, and it's more just like, beep, cross that light out. Next one, beep. It's like Minesweeper. It's like you're not there,
Skin in the game.
Yeah.
And like I to dovetail your statement, in no way shitting on those drone operator types, because like I said, I wouldn't want to do that. I'm a knuckle-dragging, hairy gorilla. I belong on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't see it, smell it, touch it, taste it, then I don't know. Is that really a target?
Yeah.
I don't. That's one of those things that if I punch the wrong target, I'll answer for it. But you're looking at a screen. I don't know what the resolution is.
Yeah.
Is it 1080p? Is it 4K? Is it fucking film with a potato? I don't know.
Yeah.
But luckily in my former line of work, I got to put my eyeball on something and go, okay, we can shoot at that. And something about that seemed right.
Yeah.
Shit, not as opposed to wrong. Just, I don't know, man. Just, I don't. Once we remove the humanity and the risk of human life in warfare, I think it's the progressive nature of human beings. I think we'll just start using them whenever.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're a trust fund kid and money doesn't mean anything, you just whip out the card. You're right. If it's just, hey, but on the flip side, it's also easy for me to say this because I don't have to go fight. If we lived in a nation with a draft where you had to go fight, I'd be like, fuck that, use the drones, right? So I have the privilege of being able to sit in my ivory tower and, whoa, we should have a human in the game. Because I don't have to do that. I'm allowed to sit at home in sweatpants with a podcast. I don't have to go out there and start gunning people. It's, it's a very...
Well, listen, and that's one of those things that's why I always throw that caveat out there. That it's just one asshole's opinion. And I would never... I'd never be conceited enough to go, you know what the problem is? No, this is how I feel about it.
Yeah, these are subjective opinions. This isn't policy.
And the concept of having a nuanced opinion in this day and age is...
How dare you?
I think that ship's done sailed, but...
Fuck that.
Like I said, I don't know. Maybe I'm the asshole. I don't know. But I'm not afraid to say I don't know.
I will die. I'm going to die on this hill. My podcast as my firearm. I will go down with an unpopular opinion. The idea that you can't say certain shit because it offends people or because it goes against groupthink. This is my battle. I will die on this hill.
I think it was Patton that said, if everyone in the room is thinking the same thing, someone's not thinking.
Something's wrong, yeah. Andy Stumpf, the SEAL Team 6 guy on Rogan, said, when I'm in a group or a chat forum and everyone has the same political view, he goes, I get a spidey sense. Something's not right. If there's not, it's the marketplace of ideas, man. That's why we have great cell phones, because everyone's trying to get the next best one. Once you go,
but nowadays you're kind of witnessing the death of debate because somehow me disagreeing with your opinion
means that you're
disagreeing with who you are as a person,
and a statement of admittance that you are a Nazi who eats babies, right? It's you disagree with me, you racist fuck. It's what? We're talking about tanks, huh?
He said he hates gay baby whales. God damn him.
What? No, I was just saying that we shouldn't have automated tanks because... Oh, what was that? Oh, you don't think Israel should be recognized? Why? You put words in my mouth. That's how quickly it goes, man. And I refuse to be a part of that. What did Mattis say? Mattis visited the killing fields when he was first getting into the military. Was it Khmer Rouge or Pol Pot? The killing fields? And
Pol Pot's Khmer Rouge were...
Yeah, he goes...
Those were the killing fields people.
He goes, the first ones dead are the teachers and the writers. Because you have to chop out all dissenting opinion and then people able to think on their own and people able to teach others how to think on their own. You got to kill that. You got to get rid of that. Get everyone in line really quickly. That happens in every communist revolution, man. You got to kill... Back to Che Guevara. You cannot have a free press. When the primary facet of your movement is we have to silence everyone and get them all in line, man, it's not if but when does everyone start getting put up against a wall. It always happens. It's the most. It's like your friend that chases the same kind of girl, and after 11 failed relationships, and you're like, you know what's happening. Like, you're not stupid. I don't feel bad for you. Like, you know what's going to happen,
dating
right?
Redheads.
Yeah. Like, I'm here for you. I'm your friend.
Tattoos.
Yeah. You can sleep on my cot when this eventually goes to hell, but like, I don't feel bad for you anymore. But it's communism. Like, it unplays in the same way every time on different continents in different decades and centuries, and it always ends up with mountains of skulls. It always ends that way.
Yep.
And
because I walked across a university campus once. For me, the whole communist ideology thing is just, they really forgot that one central thing of people want shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
The state will provide. Motherfucker, you guys couldn't provide shoes. They didn't experiment where someone just started a line in front of a door in Moscow and people just started lining up behind them. Oh, there's a line. There's got to be something at the end of it. When I was real smart as a kid. I don't know what happened. I drank away a bunch of brain cells when I was in my 20s. But my dad had something on the Berlin Mall on TV when I was, a little guy. And, he was explaining East and West Germany. He's like, this is our side. Or, we're on one side, they're on the other. And I was like, so we're the good guys. And he goes, what makes you say that? I said, we don't put barbed wire up to keep people in. And he kind of gave me a 1/3 head nod, which is about as close to acknowledgement as I was ever going to get. But, hell, even as a little guy, I was like, you don't fence in a place because you're worried about people leaving it.
Yeah, it's JFK. That's what he said. God forbid we have to have a wall to keep our people in. Hey, man, the best nightclubs are the ones that people line up to go to, not the ones that there are barbed wire. You will have fun. You will dance to the rhythm. Enjoy your youth, damn it. Yeah, with a couple of Ivans on the corners with Kalashnikovs. Like, you will dance. Feel
dance,
this.
Damn you. But only the state-approved dance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Still defaulting to my 80s movie bad guy Russian accent.
Yeah, but I mean, really, you don't put a fence around something that people want to voluntarily be in, man.
Well, see, that was a real weird moment when I was like, all right, let's get a show of hands here. And who remembers East and West Germany? I'm looking at a crowd full of pockets. Well, I guess that's me. I remember East and West Germany. I remember I worked in printing for a while, and I worked on a Heidelberg press that said made in the American sector of West Germany, like the American sector of West Germany. And it was like, shit, man, time does fly. East and West Germany, that used to be a thing. Ain't a thing no more.
Yeah, I mean...
The Cold War was a thing. It was... Sure, there was a lot of tension, but goddamn, you knew who the bad guys were because they told you they were the bad guys, and they told you that they hated you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
I guess I appreciate the heads up.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's and a good day to you.
But that's also why they say that made Gen X the most cynical generation on the planet. We grew up in the shadow of inevitable nuclear Armageddon.
A shadow that still exists, but that we just all pretend went away in 91. They're all still... All those silos, man, they're still right there. They're all pointing at each other.
Well, I mean... Nukes are one of those things that...
Nukes are what the Gatling guy wanted.
I understood what Oppenheimer said when he quoted the Bhagavad Gita and said, I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. He was like, I did a good thing, but oh, damn, was it a really, really horrific thing.
Yeah, but if he didn't open that bottle, we would have got some other scientists too. It's like what Truman said about the H-bomb and the Beardlot Project when they were first debating whether or not they would do it, which, by the way, they used to refer to in encrypted communication as Campbell. Campbell as in Campbell soup. Soup as in the super bomb. So they call it Campbell.
Super.
Highest echelons of intelligence. Let's call it Campbell. I got an idea. But he said, it's like, should we create this? And I think Enrico Fermi and Oppenheimer said, quote, this is an evil thing. But then the next question was, can the Soviets do it? And they said, yeah, within a couple of years. So we have to do it. So it's a horrible thing, but like, damn, might as well have the horrible thing. Might as well have it first. And you know what? It's Gatling wanted his gun, or the TNT guy. The nukes actually kind of did it.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's
worked.
It's the ultimate fucking card to play. All right, you want to do this? We can do that.
Yeah, everyone has a royal flush.
And nobody want to do that.
Yeah, it's not even the ultimate card. Everyone now has the option to flip the table. Like
the ultimate Monopoly ender, the table flip.
Everyone has the ability to shoot the dealer. Like, it's just... But in a way, it has. Like, we've still had proxy wars since Hiroshima and Nagasaki at those 2 dates, but, like, you've never had a full-out slugfest because you can't anymore.
Well...
In a way, it's worked. In a way. It's big asterisk. In a way, it's worked. In that you will never have an all-out... World War II, no one was holding punches. The reason why no one used nukes is because no one had them yet. It was literally like... It wasn't
We had 2, and we used them both.
Yeah, we literally...
Okay. Delay. We had 3.
Yeah,
we used them all.
Yeah.
And you got to remember that 60 miles that way is...
Alamogordo?
No, I don't live in New Mexico. I live in Vegas.
I thought you were talking about the first nuke.
No, that way is the atomic test site. What that fun-filled facility is what brought both of my families here. And everybody gets cancer. You're getting cancer. You're getting cancer. Everybody's getting cancer.
I thought you were talking about the first nuke, Alamogordo, New Mexico.
No. My granddad, my father, his mother, everybody worked out at the test site.
Yeah, biggest government-owned parcel of land, period, in the United States.
And you see that shit from Google Earth, and it just looks...
pockmarked.
Creepy. And remember, when I was a kid, because I don't know which president did it, but one of the nuclear arms limitation was for above-ground testing.
Mm-hmm.
They would televise below-ground testing in the classroom. Here I am, 3rd grade, looking at a stretch of desert a mile across, going, what's going to go on here? And it lifts up and then just collapses back down. I'm like, oh, we got these things pointed at each other. Perfect.
Bingo. Yeah.
Wonder why we're cynical.
Yeah. They actually used and it's hilarious because of how beautifully it leads into like conspiracy theories. But do you know they actually, Armstrong and Aldrin were actually, they would put them in like their suits and they'd have them walk around the nuclear craters in the test site because it was the closest thing that we could create as to like a testing facility for what the lunar surface would be like.
I did not know that.
That's the hilarious part is like we actually did have them out in near Area 51.
And Kubrick filmed the whole thing. Oh, shut the fuck
Well, no,
up.
the caveat is actually because Kubrick was such a stickler, he wanted it filmed on location, so they filmed it on the moon. It's they faked it, but they faked it on the moon. What was the most... That's not how you're supposed to use that thing you did with a tank? Or tank component?
Okay. There are 2 stories here. Now, first story, I will confirm or deny nothing. I wasn't there, had nothing to do with it at all. But it's not uncommon for soldiers that are going to go out into the field or to do gunnery. That's the rifle range for tanks. To bring some alcoholic refreshment with them. Now, if you want to keep things on the D-low, you go with hard alcohol because beer just takes up way too much space. Easiest place to hide something, especially inside of a tank, especially a large bottle of vodka, is to wrap it in a towel, throw it in the breech, close the breech. Nobody sees nothing. Unless you wind up on a bunch of shitty work details, having to draw ammo and do this, and the battalion commander wants someone else to do maintenance on his tank, and essentially 2 or 3 days go by and you kind of forgot about the vodka. And it's almost always vodka because you can mix it with damn near anything. Or drink it straight like a goddamn man. Well, you get out to the firing line. You're going to proof this lot of ammo. You're going to send it downrange and make sure it goes where it's supposed to go. The breech gets dropped. The tank commander tells the loader to put this round into the breech. He puts it in the breech. He hears a tink, and his eyes get as wide as saucers. And he looks over at the gunner. The gunner's eyes get wide as saucers because it's his fucking vodka. And just went. The loader throws the round into the breech. Breech closes. He arms the gun and yells, "Up!" The tank commander, who does not know anything, is amiss, gives the fire command, and while the gunner is trying to join by osmosis the paint on this side of the turret, touches off the trigger, and at which point range control goes ape shit. Calls out their bumper number. Charlie 3-2, clear and elevate your gun. Because a 35-foot blue fucking flame shot out of the end of the gun. Now, it's safe to say that when these gigantic projectiles go off, a bit of sound and fury is to be expected. But on a night fire, a gigantic blue flame is obvious.
Who's aliens?
A little obvious.
Who's aliens?
I don't know. So the guys from range control go down, and they're jumping up and down and angry at everything because that's what range control guys do. And something was amiss, but they couldn't tell what was wrong. Something happened, but they didn't know what, because it's safe to say that vodka bottle was obliterated into its atomic form, as well as the towel that kept it safe inside the breech. Everything was fucking incinerated. They knew something was wrong, but they couldn't pin it on anybody because they didn't know what it was, because nothing existed. That is not how you are supposed to use the main gun. Now, this one happened to me. I can confirm this. This is really not a funny story, but Fort Irwin, we're doing a movement at night, and one of the tanks that was going around a curve on an embankment turned too sharp, started to slide down the embankment, and came down like this and then rolled over. And it is a radio call that still gives me goosebumps, you know, roll over, roll over, roll over. 532 is rolled over. Because that usually kills two guys, the tank commander and the loader, because they're usually sticking out of the turret. Luckily, that little slide that they went down everyone had enough time to duck inside, brace themselves as the tank rolled over. My tank commander says, grab the fire extinguisher, get out there. Get out, run down the road. There was a little tiny fire, nothing that, a tiny little fire extinguisher didn't handle. And there I am standing on the belly armor of an Abrams with guys in my unit stuck inside. Now, I did not know it would do this, but it makes perfect sense. When a tank is on its turret, the guys that were all upside down, somebody grabbed the manual traverse handle and started turning it, because the driver's hole was unobstructed. So the driver opened up his hatch. They turned the traverse so that everyone could get out of the turret down through the driver's hole. And there I am standing on the belly armor of an Abrams as it's moving fractionally slow because it's being traversed.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh shit, not everybody, people are alive. Someone's moving the turret. We get down there, there's a bunch of busted ribs. I want to say a broken arm, a broken collarbone. But standing on the belly armor of an Abrams, especially as it's
turning,
moving glacially slow, is not how that is supposed to happen. An upside down tank is always a bad thing if it's on your side. That was one of those ones where you go, I don't think shit's supposed to be like this. But like I said, medevac got called in, and my first time seeing a medevac with night vision goggles, because holy shit, man. Helicopters generate a lot of static electricity that you can clearly see with your nods on. That kind of freaked me out a little bit. It freaked me out because everyone was alive and we didn't have much to worry about.
That's insane.
Yeah, that was a long goddamn night, because those guys, thank God for that little embankment, because like I said, a rollover, that usually kills a couple of guys. But, guys got banged up pretty bad, but everybody lived. And it was super weird to see the muzzle of a tank buried 3 feet into the gravel. Just, man, this shit is unnatural.
Yeah.
But you got to do shit like that because nobody died. You got to go, man, holy shit, look at, man, this is weird. Because nobody died.
Yeah.
We lost a couple of guys, and then who gives a shit about the vehicle?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my not supposed to be this way.
Yeah.
Not supposed to be this way stories.
What? That vodka one is brilliant.
What vodka one?
That's a story I heard from someone. Wow. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about the fire suppression system going off?
No, you did not. Let's do it.
Okay, this is essentially my first time driving not in a it's my first time out at Fort Irwin. I'm down in the driver's hole, being tickled pink to drive this behemoth around, and we are doing some kind of simulated shit. Now, the way you simulate the main gun firing is you have a device that sits atop the main gun called the Hoffman device. Now, the Hoffman is basically dynamite wired into your fire control system. You squeeze the trigger, this thing gets a charge, and a little stick a dynamite in a steel tube, goes pow. Well, something happened. I'm driving, and the gunner fires a simulated round. The Hoffman goes off, and the fire extinguisher in the driver's hole went off. Now, when you think fire extinguisher, you think the same thing I think. Right. No, it's bang white. Can't see shit.
Said bang?
Yeah. Yeah, there was no... It emptied a bottle, this shit. Man, 18 inches around, at least 2 feet tall. It emptied it in 0 seconds. Bang. And I can't see shit because the air is white. And my tank commander's on the intercom saying, driver, hold right track. Turn right. Driver, hold right track. He's thinking I got my head on my ass. Driver, hold right track. Driver, where the fuck are you going? And here's the funny thing. The fire suppression system in the M1A1 was a halon system. Now, I don't know the chemistry of it, but halon stops fire by removing oxygen from the air, which puts me in quite a pickle because I need oxygen. But the funny thing is, you know what helium does to your voice?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Halon does the exact opposite, because I got my tank commander yelling into my intercom, driver, where the fuck are you going? And I got on the intercom sounding like Barry White. I was like, something blew the fuck up in here. I don't know what it is. He grabbed the override, he turned the turret, and kind of below his seat, he kind of stuck his hand into the driver's hole. He felt a blast of cool air, which is not a good thing in July in the Mojave Desert. He was like, put it in fucking neutral, coast to a goddamn stop, get your fucking hatch open. And man, so put the tank in neutral. You don't got to go slamming on the brakes, right? It's a big bitch. She will stop. I get my hatch open, and I get the breath of life. I'm like, and then he kind of leans down and looks into the driver's hole, and he's like, you okay there, man? I was like, I'm feeling a little woozy. So medics came by and said some shit, probably like, yeah, that probably took 15 years off his life, but yeah, he's all right now. That is when I learned the cold efficiency of saving a tank. That's why the fire suppression system is halon. Because you can replace a tank crew in one helicopter ride. You cannot replace a main battle tank in theater easily.
Yeah.
So, doing the math, they figure, fuck it. If they need to breathe, they'll get out.
We'll pay the insurance, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lesson in the mathematics of modern warfare. Yeah, we can get a new crew, but shit, man, we can't get a new tank. So.
Yeah, that takes a C5 Galaxy, a bunch of fuel, or I don't know,
it's a big deal. Or fuck it, they don't need oxygen.
Or just I don't know, write a couple letters, pay some insurance, and keep the tank in there.
Department of Defense regrets to inform you that your son is dead because fuck him. I didn't like him anyway. He died.
You'll be happy to know that the Abrams is fully operational. Here's a DVD on fun facts about the Abrams.
Oh shit! Back in the days when History Channel used to show that shit.
I know, man.
Oh, I forgot to mention. Talking about old rounds. Up until the M1A1, the M60, through most of its iterations, and the first series of the M1 had a 105 millimeter rifled gun. The what do they call it now? The mobile gun system, the striker with a 105 millimeter gun.
Oh yeah.
There's a large stockpile of very diverse ammunition available for the 105, whereas the Abrams, you essentially get canister, sabot, and heat. Beehive rounds were still a thing. Those are flechette rounds that you can fire from your tank and turn your tank into the ultimate dart-throwing murder machine. And evidently, there's still stockpiles of that lying around. And
Jesus.
I guess it's... I don't even know if the modern mobile gun system can use it, but holy shit, a flechette round. A 105 millimeter flechette round. I would consider giving at least 2 toes to have a 120 millimeter flechette round.
What
to go along to the canister round, just to say it's fuck all y'all season.
What exactly is a flechette round? I know like vaguely what it is.
I might be able to provide you with a visual aid because that's the kind of guy I am.
Beautiful.
I said might strenuously. I added strenuously later, as the record will show. Nah, shut up, you. Damn it.
You're all right.
Why you gotta call me out like this?
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Just wait till I bust out the visual aid that I made sure I had before we started. Okay, flechette rounds. You can still find them for shotguns. They're finned darts. I don't know what the size of the ones in the 105 millimeter were, but shit, man. I know you can buy 12 gauge flechette rounds with 3/4 inch projectiles, something like that.
Jesus.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Something like Vietnam, it was super easy for flechettes to penetrate cover because they're fucking darts, man. They're gonna go through that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's shit, man. God damn it.
All right.
Now I'm an asshole. Yeah, they're finned darts that. Like I said, I wish I knew how many of them went into a main gun.
Man, Jesus.
I am absolutely clueless.
Do you think that they're the same size and just like a whole lot of them, or do you think they scale up to actual darts?
That's an excellent question because I really don't know the answer. Knowing Army procurement methods, it would make sense to buy one size flechette and just
fill it up.
20,000 of them into one shell. But sometimes Uncle Sugar don't always make the goodest of sense. Sometimes. Other times, he makes perfect sense. Hang on a second. I'm ducking off screen for a quick second here just to check one more tiny drawer full of random shit.
Fine, no rush.
All right, so what's your next question, dog?
You talked about this last time, but I figure we'll go over it again. What is it like in the cabin when the cannon blasts? What is it like when the main gun goes off inside of the cabin? And I remember I was surprised at your answer last time.
Yeah, it's inside the turret.
Yeah.
All right, now, down in the driver's hole is different because you're a lot closer to the dangerous end of the gun. So the driver feels a lot more concussion than anything else. You hear it, but you don't hear it. You feel the gun go off. But what I heard, and it might have been the awesomeness of the noise-canceling Bose Crewman helmet that I had, but you heard the gun recoiling. You heard it go ching, because the noisy end of the gun is 17 feet that way behind a whole shitload of armor.
Yeah.
I really didn't even, memory being what it is, I don't even really remember feeling like overpressure or anything. It was just the gun going through its path of recoil and spitting out the round base of the rounds you just shot, because the case of the ammo is made of cellulose, so it just burns the fuck up with everything else and gets spat out vodka style out of the end of the gun. So I've heard.
Legend has it.
That was, like I said, I'm pretty sure that someone's head, they wanted somebody's head to roll, but they couldn't figure out.
You couldn't figure out who's.
The hows or the whys. Yeah, it's the inside of the turret is kind of a noisy place. Your turret hydraulics are going. If you didn't have your CVC, combat vehicle crewman helmet on, the hydraulic pumps alone would drive you insane because it's a high-pitched whine that never stops. But the helmets do a fantastic job of canceling that shit out. So the hydraulics aren't as loud, but you have an overpressure system built into the tank so that when the gun goes off, there's not even a little tiny bit of smoke that comes back into the turret. Everything, due to overpressure, gets pushed out of the gun tube. It's it moved the tank plenty, but yeah, like I said, you don't really hear a boom in the turret. The driver, yeah, he gets a much better dose of it. But yeah, inside the turret, it's actually, I'm not going to say anticlimactic, because the sound of the gun recoiling is still fucking awesome. It sounds like a gigantic 1911 going, or that's, once again, my caveat, that's how I remember it. But like I said, inside the turret, it's a noisy place filled with 3 dudes and a shitload of things that go boom. Once again, let's go back to Fury. Inside the turret, you saw the gun leak back. They made no attempt to try and go, oh, this gun went boom. Because the noisy end's that way. Way the fuck that way. And you're kind of surrounded by steel, which, good for you, but like I said, anticlimactic's the right word. Just, it isn't what you think.
It's not like all those. It's not like all those.
The gun recoils, the breech drops, the tiny piece of shell that's left gets dropped out of the back, and all is good in the world.
Yeah, it's not like all those videos you see of, like, you know, standing next to an artillery piece.
No, there's a reason those guys are all deaf.
But
if you were inside the artillery piece, not that bad. Not bad.
If it can be revealed, what is the protocol to disengage from battle if his tank was damaged or a crew member was wounded and or killed? So is there a protocol for, I guess, I don't know, abandoning ship, or just not abandoning ship? I don't know. Disengage from battle, so whatever that would entail.
Okay, let's talk about the super obvious. Lose a crewman. You continue. Let's say your loader gets schwacked. Sad and unfortunate, but now the tank commander is now the loader. If your gunner dies, probably everyone in the turret is dead. So you don't, but the tank commander can do his job from his position. If the tank commander dies, then the gunner becomes the tank commander and the gunner. If you lose the driver, then you got to pull him out and then replace him with somebody not dead. I hear the phrase like disengage. I'm assuming my tank got busted and I am no longer combat effective. If things are sporty enough and the tank cannot be recovered by tank recovery guys, tank mechanics in those gigantic behemoths that they drive around in, those are the guys that recover you, usually. If you can't recover your wingman with a tow bar or cables because people are shooting at you, yeah, there's procedures to deny the vehicle to the enemy so that nothing of importance can be recovered from it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all pretty obvious, and I'm not going to get into detail, but it involves
thermite.
Exactly where you place the thermite.
Yeah.
And
well, it's the same thing in Black Hawk Down. That's like the important thing is like they want to get the bodies, but they're also like, dude, you got to go melt those avionics because that will be sold to the highest bidder.
Yep. If someone could reach into the loader's hatch and somehow break the fuck out of that radio mount,
mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure there's a market somewhere for encrypted FM radios.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Now, so strategically placed thermite grenades in very key locations, and you burn that bitch up. If your wingman can recover you, if someone has a set of tow bars, then you just drive away.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, didn't really practice that. Now, it might be because I was out at Fort Irwin and our job was to dress and act like Russians. Go figure. But we didn't practice a lot of battlefield recovery, and I wasn't on a first name basis with our tank mechanics because, knock on wood, I never blew a power pack, which your engine transmission is in one piece called a power pack. I never blew a power pack, and I never threw a track off of a tank. So I didn't know those guys too well. You had some guys, drivers that were kind of slack with their maintenance and even worse with their driving. When they throw a track, yeah, then you got to get the tank mechanics out there, get the track, break it, line it up, drive the tank onto it, secure it back up, tension it back, and then drive up.
Yeah, it seems like such a bitch to do.
Well, I mean, I certainly would never glamorize it. Tanks are still cool to me, but they are a fuck ton of work. And changing track is just one of those things, like, you hear the phrase, we're getting new track. You hear that with the same sort of joy that you hear IRS audit or anesthesia-free colonoscopy. Like it's just, oh, fuck. But if you're many hands make light work, usually your wingman's crew will help with the muscle, and if you're not doing everybody's tank, then all hands are on deck. Everyone's doing some work to help swap out the track.
Yeah. If he had worked with, have you any work? I'm having a stroke. Have you worked with any other older tanks previously, or even in training, and how did they stack up to the M1? So have you fucked with any other tanks?
Yes, I have.
Say what?
Yeah, I've got inside and drove, did some rudimentary maintenance on a Russian designed, Polish built T-55. Comparing that to an Abrams, it isn't fair. It's comparing a SPAD biplane to a P-51. It's barely the same thing. The thing about the T-55 was, if memory serves, it was one of the last mass-produced Russian tanks that had a 4-man crew. Because Russians love having an autoloader. They love that shit. Having an autoloader reduces the overall dimensions of your tank and leaves you with a 3-man crew. I have my own prejudices. I'd rather have a loader with a spare set of hands and a spare set of eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. I remember getting into the T-55 and just going, ammo stored wherever, unarmored fuel lines just running along the floor. Oh, these things are fucking death traps. That's why the Russians made 100,000 of them. Someone's like, yeah, T-55 got a kill. Yeah, it probably killed its crew too. So 2 for the price.
It's a crew like a suicide bomber gets a kill. It's like, yeah, but huge asterisk there.
Yeah. It was my first experience with a manual transmission tank. I don't remember it. I really don't. I wish I did, but I don't. It had a manual transmission with a stick shift, with a shift pattern that only made sense if you were living on potatoes and vodka and diesel fumes. Like, it was, I wish I could remember it, but it was like, wait, man, if 1 is here, shouldn't 2 be there? But no, 1, 2, 4, 8, or whatever the fuck it was. Been inside a few British chieftains that mainly served as props in Hollywood when you couldn't get an Abrams. The chieftain, I mostly remember because it was the first tank that had a supine driver's position, which means the driver was essentially laying down and driving the tank. The Abrams has the same seating position. You're like, get in your lazy boy and put it all the way back. That's essentially the driver's position.
That's weird. Why would they have?
If I have to guess, it's got to do with item number 1, constantly driving while you're buttoned up instead of the old school M60 days where your driver was driving with its head out all the time because you did that shit in an Abrams, your egg gets crushed.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the Chieftain is the exact same way, but I do know first tank with a supine driver's position. Don't really have an opinion on that one because we didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
Been in several iterations of the last M60, the M60A3. So that was our main battle tank before the Abrams came on scene. And wow, that is a roomy turret in there. Like, you could play volleyball in that shit. I got into an M60 for the first time. I was like, well, I have so much room for activity. No, I'm pretty sure that, you give it a full basic load of ammo, I'm pretty sure that free space disappears quick, but it just seemed roomy. Like, all tanks are cramped, more or less, but, hell, you get inside an M4 Sherman and you go, wow, I can do this with my arms if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in an Abrams, you're smacking your fire control system or the breech of your main gun. You're cramped. Your free space is extremely limited.
But you're also damn near indestructible in an Abrams. Trade-off. Elbow room, invincibility.
Feeling of invincibility.
That's often all you need.
Been in British self-propelled gun called the Abbott, which I'm pretty sure you can buy those on eBay right now, and super easy to drive. 4-speed transmission, I think, but it's one of those things. What kind of tank is that? It's not a tank. It's an artillery piece. It's the same thing. No, they're really not. Yes, it has tracks. Yes, it has turrets. Yes, it has a gun. Not the same thing. Same thing. Same kind of people that say magazine and clip. They're the same thing. No, they're not.
It's a 200-round assault magazine.
Don't give me that. Don't give me that, you.
It's a 200-round pistol with an automatic clip.
It's a 30 magazine clip.
Oh, Jesus, the worst kind.
Been inside a couple of different Shermans, and I'm not going to say roomy, just because I'm sure if they had the technology we had today, they would cram it with just as much shit as we did. But, little things were weird. You had power traverse for the turret, but elevation and depression of the gun was controlled manually, and the trigger was a foot switch. My first thought is, you get a guy with new boots, he's accidentally going to shoot somebody. Like, oh shit, I forgot the triggers.
That's what it is in Fury, though, right?
It's a foot switch, and just the idea of a 5-man crew, a driver, assistant driver, which is also the bow gunner, loader, gunner, tank commander. Many hands make light work, man. That shit sounded awesome to me.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, I didn't have to go to war in one, so
yeah.
So my evidence of it is anecdotal, but the Sherman I found really interesting because it's modularity. Okay, you were buttoned up and you took a round and you got a jack-in-the-box explosion where your turret pops off. Okay, well, your division tank mechanics, so I could resurface the turret ring and slap a new turret on there. Good fucking luck doing that with a Tiger. You got to get some dude named Heinrich out there with a file and an end mill because everything was precision fitted and way overcomplicated, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to catch some heat for this, but Tigers, not good tanks. Good optics and a fantastic gun, most definitely. But if that thing, I forget the numbers, if that thing sat in a 15-degree incline, you couldn't turn the turret. The drive motors were not strong enough. The gun was just going to slew to wherever was down and probably break your gunner's arm from turning the manual traverse. They were underpowered, they were unreliable, but they had a fantastic gun and they had great optics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure someone's gonna go. Someone's gonna put a price on my head. How dare he fight the tigers?
Someone's just screaming.
Just right now, just wee. Greatest sound meme ever. Because I could say it without saying it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'm trying to just see. I've been in one or two British armored personnel carriers, and yes, it is not a lie. They all have boiling vessels.
To make tea.
Well, make tea, heat up water for your rations, a bunch of other shit. But yes, they have a way to make tea. It was one of those things that you hear and you go, sure, right. And everyone has a helmet shaped like a top hat.
Yeah.
Your goggles are actually two monocles.
Yeah. Oh. For the Queen. Yeah.
Yeah, but the British gear that I saw was, I found it curious because, like, I saw a couple of armored personnel carriers that had gasoline engines. I'm like, gasoline and bullets don't mix well, right? But
bold move, Cotton.
It was the Cold War. The Brits weren't in a great financial position, so they just probably had to run what they brung.
Yeah.
God bless those funny accented guys, because man, I thought I had to deal with a shit budget growing up in the Army in the Clinton era. No, every year is the Clinton era in the British Army. Just those guys don't get the support that we do.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Let's let our closest allies just
wither.
Well, I know they fixed it. I know they have. I'm going old school, but their standard infantry rifle, the SA-80. British guys I worked with down south used to call it the civil servant. Didn't work and you can't fire it. But I guess HK went through and just kind of retweaked everything, and I guess it's a good piece of kit now.
Yeah.
But it had some teething problems of.
It's a beautiful nickname. That's a beautiful nickname.
Yeah. British humor it's a beautiful thing. It really is.
So subtle. It's so subtle and just...
Everything is just laced with sarcasm, and that's like my native fucking language.
Yeah. Everything is just like... Yeah, everything is like you're talking to in-laws or like two girls going at it.
Nice shirt.
Just not even like at each other's throats. Not like crazy bitch like sorority girls. I mean like middle-aged women like after like half a glass of wine. Just enough that they're just kind of leaning into each other. They're not going for the jugular just yet, but they're certainly just putting needles into each other. Like, oh, okay. I take it you gave up on your diet? Like, just very subtle.
Yeah, and they just call it banter.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, no, you're not bantering. You're breaking my balls over here.
Yeah, you guys are slicing each other's throats. We only have one more question, and then I have a couple questions. But you got to do like 20 more minutes, then we'll wrap it up?
I'm fine.
Fuck yeah. Which weapon and or weapon system that your enemy used made you fear for... What weapon did the enemy have that scared you the most or made you fear for your crew? So what is the most formidable enemy weapon?
is... Oh, I can break this down. MI-24 Hind. Dude, back when I was a young cock diesel youngin', dude, I would have fought the Red Army by myself. Of course, I would have gotten schwacked, but that's how confident I was. But I didn't worry about their ground attack aircraft because that wasn't really a thing. As much shit as I give fighter jocks, ours are better than theirs. But the Hind, I saw one at an air show and it made my butthole get cold. Like, just, oh dear God. It's coming right at me. It's looking at me. Don't make eye contact.
Don't make eye contact, honey. Sir, this is a Wendy's.
I'm not even sure if, I mean, I know it carried rockets, guns, and, you know, probably a whole bunch of angry Russians in it, but I don't even know if the Hind mounted anti-tank rockets on it, but something about that goddamn bird just seemed vicious. Like, something about that goddamn plane was terrifying. And I don't know what it was. Was it, I grew up in the Rambo 2 era? That'd be Rambo 3. Rambo 3, where I found out you could drive, shoot, and load a tank all from the same position.
Well, duh.
Well, if you're Johnny fucking Rambo, you can. But, yeah, the Hind, I have no idea what it was about that thing, but it just seemed... I remember seeing an A-10 flying at low altitude. I know he's on our side because he's in a fucking A-10. But I still got... Oh, fuck. It's looking right at me. It's looking at me. Tommy, it's fucking looking at me. I felt the exact same way about the Hind, and I have no idea if it was reasonable, if it was a acceptable response, but yeah, something about the Hind just... I didn't fear Russian tanks. We could shoot them before they could shoot us. Pretty sure we proved that one. But nowadays, nowadays. Sure thing. Conscript guys doing 2 years, I'm sure they know that system inside and out.
Yeah.
That is a very sarcastic thumbs up. So, yeah, probably they're gunships.
Yeah, I mean, they seem fucking terrifying.
Like I said, I got to see one fly out here at Nellis, and it was awesome to see. But I'll be damned if my blood didn't get cold. Like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the opinion I'll stand with is the Hind.
Strong answer. So this question is not really based in reality, but after watching Fury, I thought, what would happen if you were able to transport just one Abrams, one M1 or M1A2, whatever the most advanced one is,
okay,
and go back to the European theater of war in the 40s? Just how many would they eventually be able to stop it with just like carpet bombing? Or would that thing just run like a one-man train from Omaha to Berlin? Granted, it has fuel and shit. None of that stupid logistic shit.
But we had fuel. Because remember, the Abrams burns whatever you got. Yeah. You got gasoline, it burns it. Diesel burns it. Jet fuel burns it. Avgas burns it. Fucking unicorn tears burns it. You got 42 rounds on board. If we're just taking logistics out of it. Yeah. You'd better hope and fucking pray that your artillery guys are on their A game and drop a round through the goddamn loader's hatch if you can, blow the tracks off it, immobilize it. That's still minefields that still do a number on the tracks. I mean, you're not going to get a catastrophic kill. The vehicle will, in theory, be repairable if you blow off tracks, but that's the only way you're going to stop it. Otherwise, it's gonna go through your armored column like a chainsaw through a fourth grader. It's just gonna be a biblical level of hate and discontent.
The M1 would just plow through.
I mean, some of those tabletop guys, I'd be interested in talking about, because German artillery was notoriously good, but were they that good? Because
what if they used the
unless I'm dealing with an unimproved road, I could bump that puppy up to 50 miles an hour and just outrun your artillery screen.
What if they used the Sperrer Gustav railway gun? It shot 800 millimeter shells, 81 miles.
Don't be there.
They could probably think they'd pierce an Abrams with that fucker.
Oh yeah, most certainly. Just by sheer physics alone, not even high explosives. Just the weight of the iron in the projectile would. Yeah, it's gonna taco the fucking turret of that thing. But if you, that's not even something I'd worry about, just because. Say something like they're super guns. All right, those are fired. Corrections are made by forward observers, dudes with binoculars and radios going left 100, add 100, and guys on the gun make the corrections and then fire. In an Abrams, you'd be moving so fast, you'd be left, right, up, down, fuck, shit, god damn it.
Yeah.
Give me my chocolate. So, minefield would do a number on it. If you manage to ambush it and blow its tracks off, you would get a mobility kill, which just means the tank ain't driving anywhere, but it'll still kill everything within a 3-kilometer radius of its main gun.
Fair enough.
And hey, man, the taxpayers got a good deal with the fucking Abrams.
Fuck yeah. What do you think is going to... Is it just going to be continually upgraded? Is it going to be like the B-52, where it just keeps kind of getting, brought up to speed? Or is there going to be another... Is something going to replace it? Like the next generation? Like the F-22 or the F-35? Like, is something going to replace it? Or is it just a fucking boss of a system?
As much as it pains me to say, I think it'll just fade away.
Really?
It'll just get moved into war stocks until we happen to fight another nation with a professional army that has tanks. Because I'm pretty sure the Marine Corps just lost most of their tanks.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because tank warfare hasn't been a thing since February of 91.
Yeah.
Tanks don't do well in cities. Tanks don't do well at checkpoints. Tanks kill other tanks, and I wouldn't... If the budget is there, they'll just keep upgrading that bitch as it goes.
Yeah.
It's too heavy. Got all the infrastructure we need to carry the damn thing.
Yeah, you got
it's expensive. I don't know if you know what we spend on defense, but it's a lot. So the part that bothered me is when I heard people say it's a gas guzzler.
It's a tank.
What the fuck is a fuel-efficient tank? I mean, what are those numbers? I mean, yes, the Abrams, 2 gallons to the mile. What's an efficient tank? 1 gallon to the mile?
Yeah, what discernible difference does it make?
2 3/4 miles? I don't know. I don't know, but having 1,500 horsepower on tap and buckets full of speed when you want it, kind of a hard combo to mess with.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I think sooner or later someone's going to get wise to the fact that in the kind of fights that we are finding ourselves in, that main battle tanks may not be the bestest choice. Like, that hurt. That hurt to say. Fuck. So I think they'll get put into war stocks until sometime someone else will need a little sprinkle of act right. We'll break them out. We'll train the crews up again and go shoot some shit. Speaking of shoot some shit, you do realize I am sitting on a chair in my garage. That, my friend,
Jesus Christ,
is a training. This is just plastic. Training heat round for the 120 millimeter smoothbore gun.
Jesus Christ.
This is what they call a heat round, high explosive anti-tank, which oddly enough, you do not use on tanks. This is what they call the standoff. This hits vehicle, tells this to go boom. This creates a shape charge and creates a whole lot of problems for whatever it just hit. Now,
Jesus fuck.
Like I said, it don't fit on camera.
Jesus Christ.
And a good gunner can get one of the, a good gunner with a good loader can get one of these down the tube every 10 seconds. That's, and by the way, you see that gray part?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that comes out of the gun after it goes off.
Yeah.
That's what they call the aft cap.
Jesus.
So, yeah, I'm just guessing, but just shy of 50 pounds. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I'm old. Sometimes my shit hurts. But, yeah, that's why the smoothbore gun, because this is the warhead.
Yeah.
Down in here are the fins that stabilize this warhead as it travels. Because that's two ways you impart stability on a projectile. You either put a spin on it, like with rifling, or it self-stabilizes like an arrow with its own fins.
Mm-hmm.
All of our shit has its own fins.
Jesus Christ. The thing is ridiculous.
Yes, you can thank my buddy. I stole it out of his garage months ago when you and I were going to do another podcast and just been sitting here drawing fucking side-eye glances from my neighbors.
What's the muzzle velocity like when one of those puppies gets lets off the rails?
Okay, I don't remember the speed of a heat round. I just remember the sabot round, the one you use to kill other tanks. Armor piercing fin, stabilized discarding sabot with tracer. Moves just shy of 1 mile a second.
Holy fuck. Holy
that shit's awesome, isn't it?
Holy shit.
Yeah, so you take a big dart of very dense metal. Back in the day, it was depleted uranium, but that got unpopular, so now they use tungsten. You throw that thing at ungodly speed in the direction of the thing you're going to kill. It punches a hole. That hole creates whole shitloads of fragments that are now moving at the same speed of the sabot, bouncing around that turret, turning everything in there into mincemeat as the sabot flies through and usually punches a hole out the other side.
Jesus.
It does not create a suction and everyone gets sucked out of a hole that big. It just turns the inside of whatever you hit into a blender. And don't worry, you ain't gonna feel a thing. Next thing you know, you're driving around your T-72, and next thing you know, you're chilling with Joe Stalin. You're like, shit, how'd I get here?
Yeah, God damn it. I did it again.
So yeah, I've been sitting on this thing for months.
That thing is insane, dude.
Yeah, like I said, you gotta have your loader rip one of these out of the magazine or out of the ready rack, turn it, punch it into the breech, arm the gun, get out of the way, then it goes off.
Would you know offhand what the muzzle velocity is of like a battleship turret? Or are those just bigger shells? Not necessarily faster. I don't know anything about it.
I don't know anything about it too, and I was fascinated with them when I was a kid. Fascinated with them now. Shit. If they brought battleships back, dude, I'd be like, yeah, can old ass guys sign up? Because I'll do that. No, I don't have the slightest clue. I just remember watching the gun room in Iowa, New Jersey, Missouri. One of them, shell gets laid out on a cradle, punched into the gun, and then the powder elevators open and 3 50-pound bags of gunpowder get pushed in, and then 3 more bags of powder get punched in, and then they close the breech. It's like, oh, sweet Jesus, what kind of... My kind of maniac said, we just need more of everything. More shell, more gun, more barrel length.
Yeah. Battleships are just, to me, it's like, those are like the epitome of World War II. And I know they were around beforehand for the keyboard warriors. But to me, it's like, it's just scaled up to almost like a mythical level.
That's one of those things that's like, all right, the Yamato.
Yeah.
All right, had the biggest guns on any battleship, which means it'll have the biggest guns ever put to sea, 18.1 inches. And they didn't have to worry about transiting the Panama Canal, so our ships were just that wide. They basically had a foot on either side of the canal to the Imperial Japanese Navy had no such concerns, so that bitch was 135 feet across. Dear God, what a monster that thing was. So I got the ultimate what if, and it was Iowa class meets the Yamato. And I heard a pretty honest response. The Japanese guy, who was just a fan of battleships, was like, clear weather, edge goes to Yamato. Any sort of inclement weather, nighttime, rainy, cloudy, bad visibility, the Iowa wins easily. Just our radar, our fire direction was better.
Yeah.
But I guess clear visibility, I guess Yamato might have taken it.
Yeah. That fucker.
Once again.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, that fucker just let some of those shells off. Jesus Christ. It's just like there's a guy that was in the USS Wisconsin when it was used in Desert Storm, I think.
Mm-hmm.
and I've been trying to get him on the podcast. He was one of the turret operators, and I've been trying to get him on for the last 6 months, and he's still hesitant. But I'm working. I'm trying to get him on. You know who you are. I won't say your name, but you know who you are. I'm going to send you this episode, and you're going to hear this. Come on the podcast.
Please, for the love of God,
Please, for the love of God, I know. Here we are talking about Abrams tanks, man. A fucking battleship turret. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
that thing can shoot Abrams tanks.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's just a whole... That's just on a different planet of firepower. Because when I hear small arms, I go, oh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
You think 50 caliber is large? That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure battleship guys look at tanks and go, you're adorable.
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
Yeah. And they don't just have one. They've got like 9.
Why? Fuck you, that's why.
Fuck you, that's why. Because Uncle Sam plays for keeps, motherfucker. Only time we're not using this is because we're setting off a second sunrise over your city.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I gotta remember the terminology. 16-inch 3-gun turrets, not triple gun.
Oh.
3 individual guns, as in can be fired here, the other one can be fired here, the other one fired here. Whereas a triple gun, everything is done together.
Yeah.
Fact you didn't ask for nor need, provided for you by me.
But now I have it.
Yes, you do.
All right.
Yes.
All right, sir. Well, let's wrap this one up. Definitely do another one in the future. And, yeah, I got to go pack bags and shit going up to the lake for 4th of July. But if you're listening, you know who you are. Turret Man. I won't say your name.
Please do this. I'm dying to
Please,
hear.
dude, I'm dying too. I've been pestering him. I've been texting him for the past 6 months and inching closer. I think I can get him in due time.
Well, believe me, I'll be the first one watching it because as far as firepower goes, they win.
Yeah.
They win.
Yeah.
All right.
They can't be topped.
Hey, cruise missiles and JDAMs, man, that's the shit. But launching a Volvo 20 miles across the fucking horizon, and hitting something, dude, I got to hear everything about that.
Exactly. I know, man. Trust me. I know. I've been trying to. But this was fantastic. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your answers. That vodka story is fucking brilliant.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, neither do I. It's you'll have to watch the episode to find out.
That was something that may or may not. That happened in the Russian army. There we go. That makes sense.
Yeah. That wasn't us.
Yeah, they like their vodka.
Brilliant story. Thank you, my friend. And this is a long episode, so it's going to take a while to upload, but I'll send you the link later.
All right, man.
All right, dude. Thank you so much.
Good day to you, sir.
With the Maxim gun.
With the Maxim
Whatever
gun.
happens, we have the... Oh, my fuck. Is that a Wisconsin? That's not a Maxim gun.
We're maximally fucked.
Yeah, we're maximum fire for effect. Oh, Lord, the Maxim gun. Jules Verne never... All right, man.
All right, yeah.
I'll see you, buddy.
I'll just start divulging into old-timey guy voice.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
Here.
Peace.